Hi, I'm Nina. I'm the Senior Catchment Advisor for South Staffs and Cambridge Water. Today we're going to give you a talk on what we do as a company in terms of our catchment management. We've kindly got the River Ways Trust with their augmented reality sandbox here to demonstrate how some of our options that we offer under catchment management help to improve your water quality. As a company, we have launched the Spring Farmer Grant Scheme in both the South Staffs and the Cambridge region. It offers up to 10 grand per farm per year, and that's for on-farm improvements, both capital options and field options. Some of those options include things like cover crops, buffer strips, infill grass strips, sprayer washdown areas and so on. And these all aim to improve water quality in terms of reducing agricultural diffuse losses such as pesticides and nitrates. Okay, so this is the River Way Trust Augmented Reality Sandbox. It basically demonstrates a river catchment, so anywhere that the water falls on will drain to a specific watercourse. In this case, it's a surface water river, but you can also have groundwater aquifers as well. In general, we're using this to demonstrate how our catchment management scheme, which is the Spring Grant Scheme, run by South Staffs and Cambridge Water, helps to improve water quality. So we work with the farmers within our local catchments. Here it sort of demonstrates just a plain field with stubbles left after harvest over winter. If I pop my hand over it, it should rain. It's raining. Okay, and you can see that the runoff is just coming straight off the fields down into the local tributaries and the river. Our sort of options aim to break up this flow and slow it down to improve infiltration, which helps to break down any inputs that you put on the land, such as nitrates and pesticides. It also slows the flow, so it helps reduce flooding and the loss of soils and so on. So some of those examples that we do under the scheme are we can have riparian buffer strips. So just put an example here. So you'd put a 6-metre grass buffer along the watercourse, which would help to slow the river, slow the runoff, and stop it coming to the river so quick. It would also aim to catch some of those sediments and pesticides and whatnot, helping them to break down before they get to the watercourse. Other options we offer under the scheme is things like cover crops, which you put in over winter to stop that sort of having plain ground over the winter, so you've not got bare soil. So just as an example, that would obviously break up the surface. And again, that would slow the flow, that would catch some of that water and any sediments coming off the ground. And also, those cover crops would uptake any nitrates and possible pesticides and whatnot left from previous crops. Similar examples are infield strips, infield grass strips, beetle banks. Beetle banks also help to improve biodiversity, as well as things like cover crops and your grass strips. So you can see here that the rain's getting, or the runoff from the rain is getting trapped behind the buffer strip. Also, you know, where you've got things like your cover crop, it's holding it up further up into the field rather than running straight off into the watercourse. That gives it time to infiltrate and break down anything that might be potentially risky to our water quality. So part of our catchment management, we work on the principle of source, pathway, receptor. So whilst doing our farm visits and working with our farmers, we identify the source of the potential diffuse loss, the pathway, and then the receptor. Obviously the receptor here being the river or the tributary. A receptor can also be a ditch which leads down to another main watercourse. Our pathway here is some tram lines in the field. which the tractor's been driving along. Previously, the tractor had been in the yard driving through some slurry, or it could be in the field after spraying. It could have potential residues from pesticides on it. And as you can see, as it's rained, Mr. Farmer's gone out with his perfectly acceptable tractor, gone down his tracks thinking he's doing absolutely fine, and it's rained, washed off those pesticides down the track and into the watercourse, which we then abstract from. We're discussing industrial and agricultural catchment management, but obviously we do work with domestic users. So when you're in your garden, have a think about how you're disposing and using your pesticides and nitrates, and remember source pathway receptor. Don't put them down a surface water drain, and dispose of them correctly as mentioned on the label. If you'd like any more information, please do get in touch.